Welcome everyone to another episode of the Definitive Crusade. I am your host, joining the machine, Hughes, the Batman of the group, if you will. Being Batman, it's time to introduce my Robin. Yes, that's right. It's a dynamic duo of TDC minus the Batgirls this time around for various little snafus. As you can see in the background, had to be done.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Bat-tastic episode.
Yes, it is.
So, before we get into it, I have to give a shout out to a young lady I met over the last couple of weeks in my day job, who is an absolute bonkers fan of Carol Ferris from the Green Lantern mythos.
Whoa!
I know, Carol of all of them. So, Chloe, this one's from you. Machine says hi. There you go. Excellent. Love it. All right. So, after admonishments last time around, Josh has finally managed to see the Batman. Batman. I've actually seen it twice. I've seen it twice. So,
ooh. See, I was adamant. I wanted that first time. I had to see it in theaters.
Good call. Good call. I had to see it a second time because once you move away from the spectacle of going to see a Batman movie and all the hype, and then because first time around your feelings are a little bit swayed. Is it as big as the hype? Is it this or is the other? Second time around, you're just going to enjoy it for a movie.
Yeah.
So cool. Right, The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson as Bruce. I am really mopey Wayne. And Vengeance himself, along with Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, Colin Farrell as the Penguin, and I always forget the name of the guy. Is it Jeffrey Wright? Jeffrey Wright that plays Commissioner Gordon. There you go. Got it at the end. I knew there was a J in there somewhere. A very good Gordon as well.
Yes.
So, Josh, what? Give us. Right, before we go any further, I should really do the spoilers thing. Yes, we're going to talk about Batman. Yes, there's going to be spoilers. It's been out for 2 weeks already. If you haven't seen it, that's on you. All right? So,
and if you're waiting, it will be coming to HBO Max in middle of April. So you'll be able to watch it then. But I think as Johnny and I would both agree, this is one you really should see in theaters for the first time to really get the spectacle of it.
Definitely. Right. So there are going to be spoilers. You have been warned.
Yep.
Don't complain. All right. And no, not Stephanie Brown, unfortunately. So, what? Don't make me. I tell you what. Next time around,
I'm just disappointed.
Next time around, we're reviewing Batgirls. Definitely. Just because she's in it.
I'm fine with that.
All right. Okay. So, Josh, feelings. Let's give it, first of all, an overall before we dive into the nitty gritty.
Okay.
Thoughts and feelings of the Batman movie?
I loved it. I love the fact that we really got to see a more raw version of Batman. I've seen a lot of conversations on Twitter about, Batfleck, how he was the better one. Well, that's because he was the seasoned Batman.
Yeah, this is year two. This is year two
yes.
Batman, isn't it?
And so we're obviously not going to get the perfected Batman. He's still figuring stuff out. He's still
tripping over his cape at times.
Is still tripping on his cape. He's still holding on to the fact of what happened to his parents.
Definitely.
And so that is very apparent in this movie. And to be honest, I loved it. I love how Robert Pattinson really took the role and ran with it and made it his own. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, spectacular.
Doesn't Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman look like J. Scott Campbell has just drawn her?
Yeah. She was fantastic, and Colin Farrell as Penguin.
Bravo,
dude! That I mean, aside from the makeup, I mean, this guy, when they started, it was like 4 hours to put everything on. And I've seen interviews where he talked about that they got it down to about 2 hours every day that he filmed, but he knocked Penguin out of the park.
Yeah,
with,
it's good
with this.
Definitely. I mean, I think that's a great little way to kind of just sum up this movie, isn't it? Because you mean, I think for your money, you get a shed load of Batman.
Oh yeah,
Not a lot of Bruce Wayne, but
well,
shed load of Batman.
We get a lot more Batman. We get obviously a lot more Penguin, and it's not the Danny DeVito kind, the almost mutant type.
It's a proper gangster Penguin.
Exactly. Carmine Falcone. We get a different version than what we got in the Nolan verse.
See, all right, okay, we'll come back to that.
I like Jim Gordon.
Jim Gordon was great.
Jim Gordon was fantastic. The Riddler, I had my issues with the Riddler.
Again, it's kind of one of those like a different style, I suppose.
Yeah,
but I think my point I was going to make was that when you've got Colin Farrell under all that makeup, all that latex, and then you've got Bat-tastic is in there a lot. There's a lot of acting going on behind masks.
Yeah,
and it's done really well.
Oh yeah, and I'm not against the portrayal of the Riddler. There's just a lot of influence in this Riddler based off of the Zodiac Killer, and that I was like, okay, I felt like they could have taken a little bit of a more original approach. However, the way that his riddles were put together were so well done that if you're trying to solve them yourself while watching the movie, you're going to have to go back and watch it 2, 3, 4 times because they only highlight a few.
Yeah.
And there's so much more in there.
Love the thumb drive.
Oh geez. That one was good.
Yeah. So the film's atmospheric from the get-go. It pounds. It's a bit of a slow start before you get the monologue about it's not just a warning and all that sort of stuff. And then it segues into stuff you've seen before in the trailers. But from that point on, you are in a different ballgame. You are now immersed. And I absolutely love that sense of immersion. I love the fact that later in the movie, as the characters are moving around the different crime scenes, elements of the background are blurred out slightly to make you more focus on the characters rather than the whole spectacle of the scene that's going on. What favorite parts? We'll go favorite parts, least favorite parts. So
favorite part. First and foremost, seeing the tech be used by Bruce to become the world's greatest detective.
Yeah.
The contact lens. Absolutely genius. Loved how they did that. And it really, we had been saying for how long now that we wanted to see Batman as a detective, actually doing detective work. We finally get that with this.
Definitely.
And using the contact, putting it in Selina's eye, so then he can, be able to utilize her to get into the Iceberg Lounge. So that was definitely a highlight. I don't know if you caught it. There was a nod to Batman 1966 in the movie.
Why?
Okay, so for those of you who haven't watched, this is going to be something you want to watch for. So in the room where Alfred is, as he's working on the different riddles before it gets blown up.
Yeah, there is.
The William Shakespeare bust.
Shakespeare bust. Yeah,
I
saw that,
lost my shit when I saw that.
There's lots of references all over the place.
There, definitely a lot, which was fun to watch. So this movie does a great job appealing to both new viewers who are just there because it's a Batman film, and those diehards who've read the comics, there's a lot of nods. You're going to get a lot of the Long Halloween.
Some Bataz with the grappling gun.
Yep. Obviously I mentioned 1966.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of stuff that all range of Batman fans are going to enjoy.
Yeah.
And the Batmobile. The Batmobile.
The Bat-Charger. All right, so favorite bits for me, I like the fact that the police don't like him.
Yeah.
I like the fact that the police are like, I also like the fact that Bruce hasn't found his feet as Bruce yet.
Yeah.
Eventually it's going to come, but he hasn't found his feet as Bruce yet.
Yeah.
Catwoman was great. I thought the action scenes were great. The escape from the precinct was decent. The car chase spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose flaws for me. I wasn't sold on Falcone this time around. I've seen the guy that played him play too many goofy characters to take him seriously.
Yeah, his roles in Transformers.
Yeah, I mean, he's all right in Transformers, but I can't take him seriously. And for my money, as good as the film is, I think it is maybe 30 minutes, just a tad too long.
I would agree.
I think the pacing's just a little bit off. Different. It might be different when you're watching it at home in the comfort of your couch. You can go and pause it and go and get a beverage and go to the toilet. You don't have to worry about what you're missing and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Might be different at home, but for me, I thought it was just a tad too long. We could have cut a couple of snippets out here and there, and just to condense it and make the pace a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I think the timing. I mean, it was almost 3 hours, just shy of 3 hours.
256, 250 something, is it? And yes, I know that includes credits before someone gets on my back.
I think the ending was a little off for me.
The guest star ending or the
no, at the within the stadium.
Yeah.
I mean that I understood obviously the reasoning and why, but it was just I don't know.
Yeah.
Not the best ending, but definitely not the worst. I mean, it's not like, hey, I'm gonna take this nuclear bomb, strap it up to the bat, and fly off of Gotham.
No,
I was watching that the other day, and it was just
I can't watch it. I can't watch it. I have to be drunk or high to watch that. Man, but I can't. There's just too many. There's too many plot holes. There's too many errors. There's too many as soon as the windows explode before the gunmen get there in the plane sequence at the start of the movie, I'm like, right, I'm switched off. I'm now disinterested.
Yeah. But going back to the Batman.
The Batman.
This.
Sorry.
It's funny you mentioned. Well, no, I'm glad you did that because we both love that animated series.
Oh, we do.
Batman.
And what's not out in the UK? It's out in America. It's out in Australia. It's not out on the UK.
Well, that's a bunch of horse shit,
isn't it? Just.
But anyway. That one is again Batman when he's still kind of early on in his career.
Definitely.
And so is this.
So.
But yeah, overall it was fantastic. I think this did better with establishing Bruce Wayne better than the Nolan verse.
I think it's his first steps. I think the Nolan, as much as I love Batman Begins, because I love Batman Begins, it's too quick. I know I've said that this is too long, but Bruce Wayne comes back from wherever,
being a part of the League of Shadows,
and then he comes straight back. It's boom, I'm happy being Bruce Wayne. Boom, I'm happy, and everything just gels in perfectly. Yeah. This is not a perfect This is not a perfect Bruce Wayne. This is
Yeah.
not a perfect Batman. We will say quickly, we talked about it before we started recording, but the soundtrack is absolutely intense.
Mhm.
Gone are the big bombastic stylings, the themes that you would get from someone like Elfman or Williams. What you've got instead is a breakdown of maybe 3 tunes, one of which is Ave Maria. One of them is something in the way by Nirvana, and then the main Batman theme throughout the movie. Those just 3 songs, 3 tunes get interwoven so well to create this level of tenseness that the Catwoman bit, although that is a theme, I suppose, is great to just break that up a little bit, to add a little bit of something in there. Other than that, man,
Yeah, you know, shout out to Michael Giacchino.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, Giacchino. Michael, if I butchered your name, which I probably did, my apologies, but that's what you get for getting a shout out on the show.
Yeah.
The important thing is your soundtrack, your talent on putting this together, spot on. It was phenomenal.
Absolutely. And for the people who are wondering why there's a lot of red on this picture behind us, you know what? That's the movie. That honestly, the amount of, and it just works. It just works. I could not believe how much I enjoyed it the second time around. Just sitting and enjoying the movie as opposed to worrying about is it going to be as good as the hype? Oh, is it this? Is it that? You know. So I would definitely, if you're feeling COVID brave, go and check out the cinema.
You know, the thing that because I mentioned like the Long Halloween and stuff like that, but this it was, I'm trying to think what the graphic novel was. Is it Dark Victory? Yes.
The second one.
Yeah. So I'm going to bring this cover up because I know that this particular story really had a major influence on the film, just in the way it was put together. But that doesn't work out as well as I hoped. Jeez.
Minimize your windows.
Right? Well, no, it was just the image was way too, well, that doesn't help either. You know what? Screw it. We'll just run with this one. But as you can see, I mean, even the cover.
Yeah, good call. Yeah. Nice.
So Dark Victory and the Long Halloween, all of these written by
Jeff Loeb.
That really had an influence. Matt Reeves really turned to this when coming up with the script and all of that. So that translated to the film, and I appreciated that. That again was another nod to comic book fans.
I think for me, I suppose my last comment is Penguin works so well in this movie. Riddler, the puzzle aspect of him works well, if maybe not the actual character vibe, I suppose, or the character look, I suppose. It'd be interesting to see how other characters like the Joker eventually play out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think with this universe, I'd like to see them go the route of the Court of Owls.
Yep, I could do the Court of Owls. I'd like to see that. Court
of Owls would be good, especially with how they utilize the Waynes in the story with Thomas and Martha. I think they've opened that door and can run with it.
You mentioned that now. What you just reminded me. I wasn't a big fan of the idea that Martha was one of the Arkhams as opposed to one of the Canes.
That I didn't mind so much.
Yeah, I
mean, but again, for the sake of the story, it worked, and it reminded me a lot of Batman: The Telltale series, which was a phenomenal game.
I didn't like it because I didn't like that. I want to play a game to play a game. I don't want to play a game to watch something and then pick a choice.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
that makes sense.
It's
Now,
cool.
my question before we move on for
Okay.
you, given how Colin Farrell did as Oz,
Mm-hmm.
does that make you more excited for the spin-off show that HBO Max will be doing around the Penguin?
I'll give you my facetious answer first of all, is that I don't care because the UK doesn't get HBO Max. So thanks DC. Your DC Universe app is still only DC US only. So you can put whatever you like on there. It doesn't matter to me, does it really? All facetiousness aside, yeah, I would watch a series with that Penguin in totally. I have said a number of times on this show how much I love the Penguin as a semi-legitimate business person with stuff going on the side, rather than the kind of zany, over-the-top character that we've seen him both in Batman Returns, Gotham. He had that. Yeah, he had like maybe half a season of respectability, but then it lampooned itself. Yeah. So I like the Penguin as the kind of, just off center business person. So
yeah,
I'm totally fine with that.
This Penguin reminds me a lot of what we got in the Arkham games.
To an extent, yeah, definitely. But I was thinking more of around the Chuck Dixon, Graham Nolan Penguin from around the 650s of Detective Comics.
Yep.
Especially the kind of the fact the Ice Club is the Ice Club Lounge. It's there. Iceberg Lounge. It's right there straight away. It's boom.
Everyone knows where it is. Yeah,
exactly. So I don't know. I think they'll do it well, but they've got to keep that same tone and the same aesthetic all the way through.
Yeah.
But it'll be hard to do with like. Can you imagine the Penguin show with the Batman just out of shot every time?
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes. I suppose it could also bring in other characters. Obviously we've got Batgirl coming out as well, but that's different universe, different Jim Gordon. So
yeah, that's bringing in the J.K. Simmons.
Yeah. So
yes, I know you're right. It was J.K. Simmons.
I know. Hey, just saying. Just saying. Give me my points, bitch.
Well played.
All right, there you go. Before we get into the comics, here is one of our ads for one of our other shows, only on the UCPN. Check it out.
I just realized it still says 2021 on
I thought that. We need one of those adverts. We need one of those.
Yes, we do.
Definitely.
Yes.
All right, back to the books. As we're talking about the Batman, it is a Bat-tastic episode, so we've got a couple of Bat books coming up. We're keeping it in the realms of early Batman career, and this is Batman the Knight #3.
Okay, now that the audio guy has sufficiently ripped me a new one, here's the book.
Yay! All right, excellent. Yay. All right, so this is, as I said, Batman the Knight #3 of 10, written by Chip. Yes, I'm the new writer of Batman, while still writing Daredevil, Bat-tastic. Art by, and I am really, really sorry, Carmine Di Domenico. I did all right there. I think I did okay. Colours by Ivan Placencia and letters by Pat Brusseau, not related to Junior Brusseau, the Chargers linebacker.
Love it.
Oh, man, that killed me. All right, so this was your choice.
It was.
Take it away.
So, going along, as Johnny had mentioned, the movie we talk about is a very young Bruce Wayne. In year 2 is Batman. This book is, from what I gathered, and I haven't read issues 1 and 2, so coming into it 3 issues in, I'm having to put together pieces as I go. But we are getting a very young Bruce Wayne. And I mean, Bruce isn't, from what I gathered, he's not even Batman. And so he's still, wanting to clean up the city. He's wanting to do all of that, but hasn't really found his way. Aside from that, I mean, there's a lot going on in this book. I don't know. Part of me was like, oh, okay, this sounds interesting. And then the more I got into it, I was like,
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. It just, I think I'm so used to having a Batman story that Batman makes some sort of appearance.
Well,
even if this is like a flash forward kind of thing, I would have expected something, but I don't know. I think what I have to do for this is I'm going to have to go back and read issues 1 and 2 to have a proper foundation of the story for this arc in order to fully grasp everything going on.
Well, see, I didn't pick this book up the first time around because the blurb kind of gave it the idea that this was just going to be a slug-out fight all the way through the issues. And I was like, you know what? I'm not interested in that. However, I'm going to say I have been reading Zdarsky's Daredevil and Devil's Reign, both of which, by the way, have been stellar. Can't believe I'm saying that about a migraine book. But so I should have had a little bit more faith. I have to say I enjoyed this book immensely. It had Legends of the Dark Knight feels all the way through, and I love that series. I loved all of that up until about issue 50, I think it is. But early Batman, that's my bag. I like early Batman, and I like early Bruce. It's Henry Ducard again. We recently saw him in Batman the Detective. Is it a bit overplayed? Well, maybe. Maybe he's getting as popular as the Joker. Who knows, right? But still, it's a fun read. I love the art. The
artwork was spectacular.
It has like a grainy kind of a style to it, like a bit scratchy that doesn't feel like it's a perfect universe. The colors by Placencia, again, really, really great. And I know that I gave Pat Brusseau some grief for some of the letter work he did on Wonder Woman a few months back, but here, the kind of off-kilter font really adds to the, I suppose, off-kilter world that Bruce Wayne's living in. So letters do have a massive impact on how the vibe of a book can feel. It's not just words; it's the dialogue that kind of goes to show that. So no, I was really pleased to pick this book. I was like, whoa, really good.
Well, there you go. I did it for you.
Cheers, mate.
No, I thought the artwork was great, and that's what kept me going on it. Was
how did you not like the end? The I love you, Alfred bit. How did you not like that?
Oh, well, I didn't want to spoil everything.
Oh, tough. The book's out already.
I know. But again, this is one of those ones where you're really going to benefit more from reading issues 1 and 2.
I'm trying. We're going back to the bookstore and getting 1 and 2. To be fair.
Well, then that's the way to do it, because then you're still supporting your local comic book shop.
Yeah, Dal Knight, you better have them in. Just saying.
Well, there you go. There you go. So, but yeah, that's the night.
That's the night. Oh, the third night, I should say.
Yes.
All right, time to lighten things up. Yes, we're still in Batman's world, but this time around, it is Batman Superman #1. Again. How many series of Batman and Superman had together now?
That's a loaded question.
I've kind of lost count by this point. They've had more restarts than Captain Marvel. The Marvel, Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel.
Right.
Before we go all bonkers.
Let's go and bring this up here for you. And bam.
Boom. There you go. So this is written by Mark Waid, who on a recent Outside the Panels interview stated that Superman was his favorite character. You wouldn't have thought it with the troubles he goes through in this book. I'll tell you that for nothing. Art is by Dan Mora. Colors are by Tamara Bonvillain, who still has the coolest surname in all the comic books. And letters are by Edita Bidikar, who we know from their time on loads of indie books.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So this is an old school team up book, even if it borrows an idea that was recently seen in Migraine's Spider-Man. All right. So this is Batman and Robin, Superman, and a host of other people guest that star later on, as the Bats and Supes try to take on Metallo and Poison Ivy, with a little bit of help thrown in from the cheap seats. Basically, Superman, under the influence of green kryptonite, gets stabbed with a tail. And unlike the movies, this time around, it doesn't just make him a badass with a bad attitude. It is the traditional red kryptonite effect of Superman, which means it knocks his powers bonkers.
Yeah,
all sorts of
bonkers is an understatement.
It sends his powers all over the place, you know. I gotta say, this is an old book. It's a fun read. Can we dive into the book?
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you want to go? Do we want to start Metropolis? Do we want to?
Poison Ivy looks great.
Poison Ivy does look great in this.
Yeah. Do you remember those digital books that you were reading a while back? You made us read digital first books and the out of continuity stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. This reminds me of those, but done better.
Mm-hmm.
Although I will say I am curious where Batman's rope's anchored on that first panel, considering the swinging up.
Well, considering where she's,
you're
right. Great question. I don't know. I don't.
And Robin's swinging up from under the planet.
Maybe the top of the planet on the Daily Planet has like that lightning spike.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
But old school banter between Bats and Robin. Some first time meeting stuff between Bats and Superman.
Mm-hmm.
A true genuine threat to Superman, Metallo. I can't believe nobody's thought of this idea before. It's a comic book like your dad used to like. It's pretty much how this reads.
Yep.
It's a little bit out of continuity, so therefore you don't have to worry about what's going on in the other books. It is just a fun read.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we buy comic books for in the first place.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we don't buy them just to whinge about them. Although you'll be glad we dropped the 2 books earlier because we whinged about those big time.
Great.
Yeah.
You know
Tracy. You Freyja. You better watch out.
You know the one thing I want to mention.
Go for it.
And it was on the cover that my eye first caught it, and I'm going to zoom in here. So for those of you watching on YouTube, you're gonna see this. If you're listening, I love the fact that we're using the 1989 Keaton emblem on Batman on this. I thought that was absolutely fantastic that they chose to go that route with the bat emblem on the bat suit.
I do have to question why Catwoman's on the cover. But
that's a great question. I don't know, because she does not make an appearance in the book. But you know, going into the book, I thought Robin was awesome.
Yes,
and this is definitely a Dick Grayson.
It's a Dick Grayson Robin. Yep.
I like that we also get, you know, when they take the story back in the past, when Batman and Superman are first working together. I mean, even Batman's bat suit is different. It's got more of the 50s logo.
Yeah.
Even the Batmobile in the background.
His utility belt with the old 70s style compartments.
Yep. Robin in the what seems to be like almost like the 40s leotard.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Yeah, I didn't mind it either. And we get a classic penguin.
Yeah, traditional. Wah, 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 wah.
Yep. That reminds me of it was the line of toys from Kenner, the Super.
Oh yes, collection.
Yep.
Totally
so if they did an updated version of the Superpowers collection and model them after these, I would buy every single one.
I do like that series of figures. It was very good.
Especially when you had Superman and you have the kryptonite ring and you put it next to him and he starts like rocking back and forth. Yep. But yeah, this is such a fun read. And one that I will actually pick this one up and actually have in paper because it was so much fun. Oh. And we don't get 9 panel pages.
Hey!
Just kidding. We got one. But it was done very well.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't even mind the guest stars at the end of the book, to be honest. Yeah. But hey ho, there you go.
Yeah, if you want action, you want all the heroes. I mean, we even get this panel here where we see Superman's skeleton. That kind of reminds me of Superman 2.
Yeah.
When he gives up his powers.
It also reminds me a little bit, definitely, a little bit of Batman versus Superman when he's doing the X-ray thing. Same as Smallville as well, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of nods to all different sorts of stuff, and the turning into steel, that one was different.
Well, it's good old red kryptonite. That's what it does to you.
Right?
Oh, not to us, obviously, but
all right, kids, don't do red kryptonite. Bad news. Bad news bears.
There you go. So there you go. That has it. 2 books and one movie.
Yeah.
All about the Bat. I have to say that if I get the chance again, I might go and see it for a 3rd time. Don't tell Mrs. Hughes because she'll go nuts. But I might go and see it again.
I'm surprised you didn't mention the fact that Catwoman even rocks some fishnets.
Well, yeah. There's an interesting tweet I saw about the whole Catwoman thing, and at the tweet I don't know who said it, but some guy had put on his Twitter account Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman ... When she first appeared, the girl next to me moaned.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. Woo. All right.
Ooh.
So there you have it. It's a Bat-tastic episode from the dynamic duo of the Definitive Crusade. Dynamic Crusade. What am I talking about? The Definitive Crusade.
Getting your words mixed up.
Getting something mixed up, I tell you. Don't forget to check out the new CPN for all your favorite shows, including Josh.
Oh, we got the Jank Think Tank. We got a new episode coming out. There's been a whole lot of stuff going on in the Commander world. And because of that, it's caused a little bit of a delay for that episode coming. But it was a fun episode. We had a huge guest on the show. First one for the Jank Think Tank. So super excited about that. So stay tuned for that.
And of course, don't forget to check out the Old Timers Comic Book Show, where the hosts are all what the comics most certainly are. And speaking of comics that are, for those of you who wonder why we only review so many books on the on the Old Timers Comic Book Show, go check out Comic Crusaders in a few days. We've got a new section. It's the Old Timers Comic Book Reviews. There you go. Some retro reviews of days gone by. Go check them out. And of course, get in touch with us about any of the books, whether it be DC books or Old Timers, and let's see if we can get some choices, your choices out there. Because DC's choices kind of suck sometimes. I definitely know Freyja and Tracy's do. Just saying. That's right. All right. I've been your host, Johnny the Machine Hughes. Josh, thank you for spending the time.
Always.
So from us, adios.